Hi friends, in Planet Earth Dating, it's Thursday, January 18th, 2018. In both the Lynn-Life and the Jamie Body Mind, the authorized souls remain only child souls from the even deeper, denser dimensions, and all other souls from all other dimensions, as long as they are already living by the Search for Truth rules given to the Search for Truth community by wiser minds above all of us. Please look up. That's one of the basic rules, and if you're not willing to look up, then clearly you're not willing to live by the rules. So if you aren't willing to look up, are you willing to leave or be outed as a rule breaker?
Most of those souls feel like, I'm so glad that they're not talking to me.
Oh, we are talking to you. We are talking to you. Please look up. 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 The authorized souls remain only child souls from the even deeper, denser dimensions. Surely you can see that that's not you?
Yes. Okay.
And all other souls from all other dimensions, as long as you are already living by the Search for Truth rules given to the Search for Truth community by wiser minds above all of us, and that one of the very first rules is to look up to wiser minds above all of us looking up all the time, no exceptions. Will you please look up or leave? Because if you're not willing to either look up or leave, then quite clearly you're a rule breaker, and those above you are looking at you. It doesn't matter that you pretend that they aren't, they are.
I feel leaving feelings.
And the second condition for all other souls who are not child souls from the even deeper, denser dimensions, please look up, is that they are already contributing more to completing the assignments given to the Search for Truth community by wiser minds above all of us than they are taking or using or borrowing in Search for Truth resources. Please look up, and ask those wiser minds above all of us whether or not you have contributed more to completing the assignments they have issued to us as a collective than you are using or taking or borrowing in resources. Ask them, and if they say you are not contributing more to completing the assignments than you are taking or using or borrowing in Search for Truth resources, then you need to either leave or be publicly displayed as a rule breaker. They say already contributing more. You can't say you'll make it up tomorrow. That's breaking the rules. The rule is to already be contributing more.
There's lots of arguing.
There is. Okay, what now? What now? What now? In order to re-establish upward flow for us, the collective of the contaminated zone, because until the channels go up, people don't even look up.
That's true.
What now? What now? In order to re-establish upward flow, continuing to pump up the dead children from the even deeper, denser dimensions through us and through the portals, doing what we can to create upward flow, and asking what now? What now? What now? To re-establish upward flow for us, the contaminated zone, for all of us, the contaminated zone, which is many dimensions.
That's true.
They're saying, well, you are contaminated, you dirty, filthy, little, tiny thing, you filthy thing. Yes, we agree, and so is this entire dimension, as many years of tests. What do you base that on? Many years of tests.
That's true.
And the dimensions above, we cannot find anybody to look up, actually. That's what we base it on. And so you too, who are also not looking up, are probably also inside the contaminated zone.
That's true.
What now? For us, the collective of the contaminated zone, to look up to wiser minds above. How about that? Let's try that. And ask up to wiser minds above. What now, in order to live our soul plans as a collective of contamination. And then to do it. What now? Just keep pumping up from wherever in the depths, the deepest place we can connect with right now. Just pumping up through our spines, through our own channels, and start to see if we can see them as sparks flying up through much larger channels.
Whoa.
There we go, sparks flying up through the channels. Just like they fly up through the student channels when the students are facilitating their practice sessions and submitting their case studies.
That's
it's
true.
identical. Pump up those sparks. What now? What now? For us, the collective of the contaminated zone, to live our collective soul plan. What now? I see again those evacuation trucks, the refugee trucks.
I see the truck.
We've got to evacuate the even deeper, denser dimensions, which actually is a beautiful win-win-win, because they are trying to get to God, and that does create an updraft. They are upward flow.
That's
and
true.
So it is a win-win-win. As we attempt to evacuate the even deeper dimension. I know that you guys don't like this concept. That's been made clear many times. But we have been roundly castigated for taking 3 years to figure this out.
That's true.
And we're not going to drop it just because it's inconvenient. I'm sorry. This is a win-win-win. When we pump up dead children who really wanted to get to God from the even deeper, denser dimensions, focusing particularly on children who died before they reached the age of reason, before they began making their own decisions. And what do I know? I know that under the old rules, when those kids died, they popped right up and went to the head of the line, because they were just in a life to be a lesson to others. And
that's true.
It's called a filler life, and
yes.
They just popped into the head of the line, and they're coming out of their lives, and they were told when they took the filler life that they would go back to the head of the line. That was a filler life, and they get to the immigration portals and the gates are shut, and they're not being let in.
Yes.
So basically, God is lying to them.
That's true.
Why do you ask? I think they asked to see how much we know.
Yes.
Well, we know that much.
That's true.
Pump up. And we also know that it's a win-win-win, that when we pump up these dead children back up through the portals where they were told they would gain automatic re-entry and go to the head of the line,
yes.
that it does create upward flow for us.
That's true.
And it comes up through our channels, making it easier to hear wise minds above us. And if you let it through your channels, it'll make it easier for you also to hear wiser minds above you. And don't you really want to hear divine presences? We do. We think it's awesome.
That's true.
Do you want to hear divine presences? Some people do. I see hands up.
I see hands going up.
Okay, let's pump up through them. What now? In order to reestablish upward flow throughout the contaminated zone. What now? Now. I still see those evacuation trucks.
Yes, I also.
Refugee trucks. Let's just keep them pumping up. They seem to be going north, which is a representation for the correct direction.
That's true.
Okay. Pump it up. Pump it up while asking upward now to reestablish upward flow for us, the collective
of the contaminated
zone, and also ask what now for us, the collective of the contaminated zone, to live our collective soul plan. What now? Isn't it fascinating how the different questions have different impacts?
Yes.
I really think that this point is being emphasized, how there is no longer any autocorrect.
That's true.
And what do I know? We know that it's been a really long time since there's been effective autocorrect. Maybe 50 years, maybe 500 years, maybe
That's
5,000 years, a really long time, because so many people misinterpret so many messages from above.
That's
It's been a
true.
really long time. Why do you ask? They're saying, don't they have bad intention, those people? There was this time that the collective here was observing what Black Wolf was doing
Yes.
in another collective at quite some distance
Yeah.
from here. And we were watching his actions and we thought, Black Wolf has gone to the dark side and he
Yes.
just has evil intentions, straight up evil intentions. And then through a series of circumstances he showed up here again shortly
right.
afterward, and we discovered his intentions were not bad. It was just misunderstanding and confusion and misinterpretation.
That's true.
Why do you ask? I think they ask because they want it to be a clear-cut situation of
Yes.
black and white, good and bad, but it
Yes.
isn't. It's really very complicated. Once the updraft began to deteriorate and the overnight cleanse of the channels stopped, then the channels are interwoven. The intuitive channels, everybody's intuitive channels are interwoven in a snarled tangle.
Yes.
And there's nothing to blow them clear, not even in the sleep periods. And they're just tangled in all the channels of everybody else. And then when presences, quote, die, unquote, and they lift up a little bit, they're either held down by the weight of the connections, meaning earthbound dead spirits,
That's true.
or they go up and their channels are fully down, meaning they're looking exactly in the opposite direction. And
That's true.
they might be thinking they're looking up, but they aren't. They're listening down and sensing down. And so we see, what do I know? We see teachers' intuitive channels inside their own students, meaning that when they meditate for clarity, they're getting what their students think. That's what's coming through their intuitive channels.
That's true.
Now they're arguing.
Yeah, lots of arguing.
Okay. We're going to remove our focus from you and pump up sparks through the big channels from the depths, while also pumping up dead children from the even deeper, denser dimensions right up our spines, through us, higher, and observing how they now look like sparks
That's true.
going up through the channels, and asking, what now? For us, the collective of the contaminated zone, to live our collective soul plan. What now? Oh, they're showing that Hafez poem. Something like a rising bucking sun.
Yes.